Everybody, we are back. It is Tape Don't Lie. It is your favorite Raiders podcast, favorite Raiders YouTube channel. We are back for another week, reviewing another heartbreaking loss to the Miami Dolphins, 26-25. Thank you for guys for hanging out with us all season. Definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't been here before. Hit the like button as well. Make sure you subscribe. Like we say every single week, we enjoy all the new subscribers. We're almost at 3,000. We're about like 100 away. So definitely share with your friends. Let us know that, let them know that, you like to watch TDL and you want to join us every single week. So make sure you guys do that. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL is where you follow me, Marcus Johnson. You got BD Williams at BD Williams 18. You can follow both of us there and enjoy our tweets and some of the videos we post out and some of the engagements we have. So make sure you guys follow us there as well, and hit the subscribe button like I always said. All right, man. So BD, how you feeling, man?
Um, well, it's not. This is not fun anymore. I'll just say that. It's to keep on breaking down and going over the tape when the Raiders have this late season collapse. Is no longer fun for me.
Hmm.
So, uh, you know, hopefully the Raiders dominate the Broncos again and it's at least ends the season on a bit of a high note, just for me specifically.
Okay.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Raiders are eliminated from the playoff contention, anyways. So we're all upset as fans. But thanks for tuning in, anyways, guys.
Hmm.
Today I'm going to show you, what the Raiders' game plan was against the Dolphins, how it worked against Tua, and how they were not ready for the quarterback change. So that's what we'll go over.
All right, definitely. Me, the big news is the Raiders struggled in the red zone and they struggled on third down. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go over every single all nine. I'm not going to go over the running play on 3rd and 18, but I'm going to go over all the other passing plays that happened on third down and see what happened on every single play. Was it a mistake on Carr? Was it just a play call? Was it just great defense? We're gonna see. I mean, basically, we're gonna see all three of those things, to be honest. So it was a lot of factors into the third down. I mean, sometimes Carr did make a mistake or miss a throw, but sometimes it was just really, really good defense, and really was nothing they could do about it, and they kind of sniffed out a lot of their plays. Um, and that was a big deal too on third down. Is that which kind of shocked me because the Raiders are one of the best teams on third down. I still think John's one of the best third down play callers, but a lot of the things that they wanted to do on third down just weren't there this time. So it was interesting to watch, but I'm going to go over it and we'll see what happened and what was going on with that. So
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I'll just jump into it.
okay.
All right. So if you were optimistic about the Raiders getting some improvement on defense, well, this is the first play, and they only have first play of the game. They only have 10 guys on the field. Okay, so any kind of optimism that the Raiders were going to, improve probably should have gone out the door right there. But when they had 11 guys on the field, they were able to stop the run. This is that pirate stunt that Rod Marinelli likes to run in passing situations. Also keeps the linebacker out of the run fit to stop an RPO or a zone read. They use that a little bit. A lot of cover two run stuffs, which when you're stopping the run out of two high safeties, you need defensive linemen like Carl Nassib right here getting some penetration, making the running back bounce. Javin White makes a run stop there. Or just people, everyone swarming to the ball. And they used a lot of cover two. And the point of it, like you said, was to stop these RPOs, right? So you see Trayvon Mullen right here get a tackle for minimal gain on an RPO. Here we go. Damon Arnett's on the opposite side. Tua likes to he likes to dink and dunk, right? Um, you see Lamarcus Joyner reroute Lynn Bowden here and throw off the timing of this one and while they're in cover two. And this is actually my favorite cover two rep, Dallin Levitt. He knows they're going short, so he just jumps this, comes way out of his zone to make that pass breakup because they knew Tua was going to throw short. And they also, they blitzed effectively, especially with Jonathan Abram here. He's blowing up that bootleg play action. He's coming over here making a run stuff in a critical situation. And also when it was an obvious passing down, the Raiders did a good job getting penetration and pinning their ears back, getting some sacks on Tua, especially because he's waiting for things to open up underneath. And nothing was there because they were running a lot of cover two, or they were just playing strict man coverage over the top of it. And when Jonathan Hankins is getting a sack, it's like, okay, they're obviously doing a good job. Now, the Raiders were not ready for the QB change. Okay, Fitzpatrick obviously prepared like he was going to start the game immediately. Man coverage. He goes after Damon Arnett, who's a rookie. They're doing things, real quarterback things, where they're identifying man coverage with motions, and he goes after Isaiah Johnson in the slot here. When he looks down the middle of the field on this rep and he sees that it's cover two, he goes after Raekwon McMillan. So he's picking on the Raiders' weak links in the passing game, and then obviously the fateful play of the game, two young players on the outside. He goes there for the prayer, right?
Mm.
Um, so it was a brilliant decision by Brian Flores to make that QB change to Ryan Fitzpatrick, right?
Mhm.
The Raiders were very vanilla. They wanted to condense the game plan and let guys play faster,
Yeah.
and it was working against a young quarterback. But then when you get that veteran quarterback in there, he has nothing to lose. Ryan Fitzpatrick, man, he's made a career out of just coming in and being like, okay, I'm just gonna go, make plays here, and if I throw an interception, whatever. I got nothing to lose here, right? They benched me how many times now at this point. So he took advantage of the Raiders, and like I said, he definitely prepared like he was a starter. Like he knew all the weak links in coverage for the Raiders. He was targeting them. Basically every single throw that he made, he was going after either a young guy or a guy who hadn't played a lot for the Raiders. So that was something that was evident. Now I just want to talk about how cover two. Everyone knows cover two. It doesn't. You don't have to be a big fan of football to know what cover two is, but cover two is almost an exclusively a NFL coverage. Okay, when you go down to the lower levels of football, the hashes get wider and wider as you go. Okay, so part of cover two is your corners need to play run support, and if the ball's on the hash in college or high school, even, okay, that wide side of the field, it's so much wider than it is in the NFL. And now you're asking, a young player who's probably not as fast as the NFL corner to play run support. You're putting them in conflict. It's too big of an ask. Okay. So there's only a few teams in college that even run cover two. Usually it's going to be cover four. And things like that. They would only run cover two to like the short side of the field, and so it's not something that young quarterbacks are going to be used to throwing into cover two windows when they get into the NFL, right? So even though it is a
Mhm.
vanilla coverage, it is something that most young quarterbacks, they're not going to be used to throwing into. So cover two was really effective against Tua. He's a young quarterback. Now, when Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in and they're playing cover two, it's like, okay, well, he's played the NFL for how many years now? Like 10, 11 years. He knows what to do against cover two, right? So their game plan, they were 100% ready to stop Tua, and they were doing a solid job of it, and bending, don't breaking, even when the Dolphins put together a good drive. But they were not ready. Like they didn't have anything for Ryan Fitzpatrick. It was obvious that they did not prepare for the quarterback change, and you know, um, Ryan Fitzpatrick just made one more play than the defense at the end of the game. So
I mean, do you think they should have been prepared for a quarterback change?
no, I'm not saying that they should have been prepared, but it
Hmm.
was just like obvious. Like it was obvious that the Dolphins were prepared. Like Brian Flores was like, okay, if this is going haywire, I'm gonna put Ryan Fitzpatrick in, and Ryan Fitzpatrick was definitely prepared to play that game. Like he was not, you know, um, dozing off in meetings. Like he knew what the Raiders were weak at, and he targeted them. So they were definitely prepared for it, and the Raiders weren't. But yeah, I agree. You're not going to be prepared for a quarterback change necessarily,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean, Dolphins were, and they won. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you shouldn't be, but I mean, I feel like since they might have done this before, I mean, this is not the first time this has happened
this year,
either.
yeah, they have benched Tua and put Fitzpatrick in this year. So
So
yeah.
I just think I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe like I mean because I mean this is the same basically the same thing happened against the Broncos. Like Tua came out, they played they played him really well. He couldn't move the football, so then they put in you know Ryan Fitzpatrick. So that is a pattern. Like if they play really well, if you're playing really well against Tua, it's probably a chance that they might throw Ryan in there, especially in a playoff situation because Brian Flores wants to make the playoffs and they have a good understanding for some. I don't know. I mean, maybe Tua is able to handle it. They must have told him something before the year or something. I don't know. I mean, because pulling a young quarterback to me is like that is crazy. I don't know, but as long as he can handle it, I guess. And I don't know. It seems just rough mentally to me. Regardless, it's like you just keep getting pulled. It's like, am I get like then you might start worrying about making mistakes because I mean that might be half of the reason why he doesn't take chances, is because he might be afraid that he's getting pulled
Mhm.
if he takes too many chances. But then since he's not taking chances, he gets pulled anyways. So I don't know. I just feel like it's super weird to be doing that. But I also think that the Raiders maybe probably should have been a little bit prepared that if they had a great game plan and they wanted to stop him like they could, that maybe it's desperation time that they might put Ryan Fitzpatrick in. And it was go
I
ahead.
sincerely doubt the Raiders were prepared and thinking we're gonna stop. Like going in there confident. Like how many guys were on COVID? Like both their starting linebackers were out on COVID. Like there's a lot of flux on defense right now.
Yeah.
So I just think that they were just like, okay, let's just try to put together a good game plan. Like I don't think that they were even thinking they were gonna play that well. But it was actually interesting to watch because if you just watch that game, you're like, Tua is trash. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, besides that, like fourth down zone read where he, ran for like 7 yards and got a first down. Like he he struggled. He did not have a good game.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that this is a playoff caliber team. Tua has been playing well. Not great, but like well up until this point, except for maybe a couple games here and there.
Hmm.
And the Raiders down that many people were able to put together a game plan to stymie this guy. That's interesting. I mean, it's a silver lining that you could take, but it still wasn't good enough. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to get too happy about it.
Yeah. And I pointed that on the previous show. I mean, that's what the Chiefs did. I mean, they played cover two against him and he struggled. So, I mean, that's why I felt like that maybe since that was Rod Nelly's one of his go-to coverages that they would do pretty well against him because the Chiefs did it, and he couldn't really move the ball against the Chiefs that well either. He struggled a little bit to move the football. Um, and then they wouldn't play Patriots, who are more of a man-to-man team, and want to play man match or different types of coverages like that. And is some more things. I mean, because a lot of SEC teams do that. So he felt more comfortable, playing against the Patriots a little bit than he did probably against playing against like the Chiefs, who play cover two, and then they cover the flats. And it's basically what you showed right now. It's the same thing the Raiders did. So it makes sense that he struggled. I mean, he just got to get better at that. He's just gonna have to understand it and try to figure out how to how to beat those coverages, and we'll see if that's. I mean, because I mean, next week. I mean, what are the Bills gonna do, right? If the Bills actually come out and play, they're gonna play cover two, and then they go to the playoffs. What's the next team gonna do? They're gonna play cover two until he can beat it. So he has to figure that out. But
Yeah.
no, we're not a Dolphins show. But 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 yeah, it was. I mean, the defense played well. And then when Ryan Fitzpatrick came in, you're right. I mean, Ryan Fitzpatrick missed some throws too. I mean, if Ryan Fitzpatrick was an accurate quarterback, then they would have scored the first time, then they would have scored the second time, and then they would have, and then it would have been a different game because I mean he missed Gesicki wide open in the back of the end zone. Like he had Gesicki wide open, and it was a perfect call. He had another dude open on that play too. So if he didn't want Gasecki, he could have went to the other dude. But Gasecki was open, but he's Ryan Fitzpatrick, so he sailed it. Um, He had Kaseki open on that. They ran the same play twice, so they ran that play that you ran, and then they ran the other play again. They this play that you showed the Kaseki, they ran that play before it, right? And then he missed it. It was still open, so they okay, we'll just go back to it. And it was open again. I mean, just watching Raekwon McMillan play Tampa 2 was scary at the end of the game. I was like, oh my god, he's Raekwon McMillan is Brian Urlacher. I was like, oh, I would attack that too. I was surprised they didn't attack that all game.
Yeah,
And
right, because they were playing that all game. Yeah, but Tua wasn't willing to push the ball there, and immediately, like Ryan Fitzpatrick comes in, he's like, "I'm gonna go after the worst coverage linebacker maybe in the NFL." Like
he's playing Tampa too.
yeah,
Where's
like
Mike Gesicki? Like,
the
yeah, that was it was
the
just,
toughest coverage to run as a linebacker, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, to everyone who was like, wow, Raekwon McMillan, he had a great game, stopping the run against the Chargers or, whatever it was. And why hasn't he been in more often? Or the Colts, it was the Colts, sorry.
yeah.
That's why he hasn't been in more often, okay? The guy can't cover to save his life.
Yeah, we're just yeah. He's. I was as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, they're playing Tampa too. And
And
oh, well, of course he's going to go after Raekwon McMillan up the middle on a
yeah,
seam. He's not going to be able to cover it. So
yeah. And the most frustrating part about it, too, is up until like the fourth quarter, Raekwon McMillan had been making a lot of run stops and he was a sure tackler.
mhm.
And then all of a sudden, fourth quarter comes around and he misses like three tackles. And one of them was that big touchdown to Miles Gaskin. When he
Yeah.
comes across the middle, he bounces off Ray Carr and Bill turns around and runs up the sideline for a touchdown.
Mm.
So I mean, it was just like you've been making every tackle up until this point, and then Raekwon McMillan just fourth quarter comes around, he can't do it
Yeah,
anymore.
they just raided that game away. Basically, the defense just Ryan Fitzpatrick came in and they just raided it away because there's no reason why Gaskin scored. It's funny because I was watching the QB school and he was breaking down the Fitzpatrick, drives, and he froze it when Gaskin got the football and it was like he scores here. That was embarrassing. So that was really embarrassing part of the game
Yeah,
because the offense was struggling to score, and then they went there and they made a huge play, like a huge play, 85-yard touchdown. Carr rolls out, he throws it on the run. It's a broken play. It's just huge, and it's just like because that was the type of game where like if the crowd was there, that would have been a huge factor if there was a crowd because like as soon as that place would have exploded when he made that throw, and then that would have changed the game. The game would have been so different. Like the game would have been like loud in that
yeah,
dome if right after that play, and but it's
right.
quiet, so they just come out and nobody cares. It's just I think that's the big difference with not having fans in the stands. It's like a play like that Derek Carr to Aguilar like that would have exploded the place. The place would have been standing up. Everybody been standing for like for the next 20 minutes until the Dolphins drive was over. So I mean, it would
Yeah,
have gave the defense a little bit more pumped up. I think that's the difference between fans and not having fans. It's a play like that to me.
yeah. I mean, and again, you got just talking about the last play, all right, or the second, technically the second to last play, where Fitzpatrick throws it up and makes a miracle happen.
Hmm.
So Damon Arnett, he's in cover two, and everyone's like, well, why can't these guys play cover two again? You don't play cover two in college. You do not play cover two in college. So this is technically a new coverage for him, right? He like especially at an NFL level. Even if some teams have a cover two package, the depths where you drop to and pass things off to changes dramatically once you get to the NFL anyways. So if you find a rare team in college or high school that plays cover two, it's going to be completely different than what it looks like in the NFL, right? And I watched Damon Arnett's film in college. He did not play cover two in college. Okay. So, you know, and then you also have Isaiah Johnson cheating to the middle of the field, and he's not even a safety. He's a corner, who's pressed into action to play safety this week. So it's obviously, you know, there. I think that's an issue. I think two man would have been a better call there. You know, I don't know why they didn't do that. I didn't see any two man reps, and in that situation, you want them. You want Ryan Fitzpatrick. Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick is not a running threat, so you can play two man. Everyone can turn their back to
Mm.
him. You can play two man. I don't know why they wouldn't play two man there. And then it's just less thinking, less eyeing the quarterback. It's just like just line up from that guy and get underneath him, and turn and run. I think that was a really bad call to ask those young players and put them in that situation at a critical point in the game. I know a lot of people are like, why didn't Damon Arnett just sink underneath it and yada yada yada. Um, but I just think it's a bad call.
All right, all right. Yeah, I do want to ask you this question. Do you think that's a walk off if he doesn't get his face masked? That's a walk off throw, huh? He's walking off.
Um,
That's a walk. Like let's just say he doesn't get his face mask pulled because I've seen that play a couple times and he's stepping up. And if he doesn't get his face mask pulled, he's about to put all of it into that throw. And I don't know if Isaiah Johnson gets over there if he hits him where he wants to hit him because I mean he stopped and Isaiah Johnson had to like come back. But if he's going at the angle, he's running wide open on the sideline, he's coming to the inside, then he has to get all the way back before he gets that throw. I don't know, man. I think that's a walk off. They don't pull that face mask. That would have been worse. I think a walk off right there is worse.
yeah,
That would have been the worst thing
because
I've
I
ever
mean,
seen.
like, yeah, because Isaiah Johnson, it was like he was playing completely the wrong technique for his footwork was not going where it should be in cover two. So yeah, I mean they were allowing that sideline to just go. Like there was no one there. So I agree, it's potential. Yeah, he was putting everything into it.
Yeah, so I was like, man. So I was like, man, that would have a walk off would have been worse. That would have broke. That would have tore. I mean, it still tore my heart out a little bit, but a walk off, just watching him just throw a 70-yard pass, that would have been the worst. Like, what just happened? Oh man, that would have been
End
tough.
of the game, they're going deep. Play two man. It does not make sense why you wouldn't play two man. It doesn't make sense.
Or place or anything else to me, man. If they would have like went three high safeties or something, I think that would have been better. At least would have. I don't know, because at least if we have the face mask, they just go to the 40, and then they
Yeah.
still got, it's. That
Well,
was,
I mean, yeah, but three high safeties. If you're talking about a prevent, it's still man underneath, and then
yeah.
instead of two guys, it would be three guys. So yeah, like yeah, anything.
Anything else besides that,
Yeah,
I just,
yeah, yeah.
uh, I
I
don't know.
mean,
Just
he killed you in cover two the entire fourth quarter, and you come out and you call cover two immediately. Like, did they only practice two coverages? Like, I only saw cover one and cover two the entire game, really.
probably.
Or well, I'm sorry, they did play cover six as well, but yeah, I know two man is in the playbook. I know, even if you don't practice it, you could still call it in that situation.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, so that was a really really bad call, and it was a really bad execution of that call as well. So obviously, blame goes around there, but I think that might have sealed Marinelli's fate in terms of being the defensive coordinator next year, which is a good thing for Raiders fans.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'm not a Tampa 2 guy. I don't think you can run Tampa 2 that much in the NFL these days. And obviously you saw why, because you have to have. I mean, Tampa 2, the Tampa 2 legends that you would say that I mean, Derek Brooks, Brian Urlacher, those are two Hall of Famers. That's what you need to run Tampa 2 effectively. Or you have Luke Kuechly, who's also a Hall of Famer. So if you don't have those guys, I mean, you are in trouble running Tampa 2, and you just can't do that. So
Yeah,
especially in today's NFL, I mean, they're just gonna 3-by-1 you, and they're gonna run you up, run a guy up the seam, and then if you can't, yeah, it's
yeah.
just I don't know.
The Yeah, against veteran quarterbacks, yeah, and basically like Tampa 2 has been around for a long, long time, right? So all these older offensive coordinators, they know every single trick to beat that coverage,
Hmm.
you know, and it is effective when you have a dink and dunk offense. It is effective,
Yeah,
it is effective to stop the short game, the quick game, because you have five guys across the middle underneath, you know. So there's a place for it, but it's effective if it's effective against the short game. That and everyone knows like this is the the number one thing about cover two. If they're trying to be in quick game, okay, short passes, quick passes, run cover two in those situations. Why would you run it at the end of the game when they need a big play? You know, like that. It goes against.
Everything.
It's counterintuitive. I'll just say that.
That's called stubbornness. That Tampa 2 is my coverage, and we're gonna run it. We're gonna run Tampa 2, and I don't agree with that. I don't know. I just every time I see Tampa 2 and I think about it, I think about exactly what Ryan Fitzpatrick did, exactly what Chance Gailey did once he came in the game was just I'm gonna put 3 by 1, and there's the inside slot receiver, to whatever side they have it is gonna run up the seam, and it's gonna be Raekwon McMillan versus Gasecki, and who's gonna win? And I just throw it to Gasecki. I'm throw it over the top of McMillan. He's not gonna get there. So I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. It's today's NFL. I don't see that working, especially when a veteran quarterback comes in. You got to switch it up, especially after the first drive when he clearly just was attacking Raekwon McMillan, But
Yeah.
what do I know? You know.
All right. We
All
can move
right.
on. Don't let's not beat a dead horse. Literally.
Okay. You know.
You know.
All right. So let's get into the offensive side of the ball.
Let's do it,
Yeah,
bro.
let's do it. All right, so we're going to be talking about the third down issue. So we're going to do this. We're just going to go over every single third down that there was. All right, so we're going to look at every single one. I mean, they went over 10, so we're not going to be looking at the down, the kneel, and we're not going to be looking at the run play. I mean, those are kind of pointless, right? But we're going to be going over every single third down issue. So we'll start off with the first play of the game, which is the mesh wheel, which is one of my favorite plays that the Raiders run. But this one actually has two meshes in it and the mesh wheel. But we want Aguilar wide open here, right? We're gonna have him wide open. The Dolphins, they're running. I believe this is cover zero, right? So they're coming down. John Gruden's, you want to play cover zero? I'm gonna hit you over the top, but Carr misses this one. This is a huge miss because he scores. That's a touchdown. There's no way that Byron Jones is catching Nelson Aguilar here. So you see it from the backside how wide open this is. He has the room in the pocket, but Carr's not able to step up into the throw because of his groin injury, misses it, sails it, but that's 6. I mean, that was a big third down. That would have started the game off with the blast. Like now, this play, caused a lot of controversy on Twitter about the out route and the rugs, and seeing rugs open on this one. But Renfro wants to out route here. That's what Carr wants. He wants to out route, and Renfro's not open. But if Renfro is wide open, sorry about that, guys. But there's just not enough time and the pressure. I still think Carr should have got this ball out earlier, anticipated this a little bit more. I'll bring it back a little bit. I mean, you do see 28 running back to catch Ruggs, so I hope everybody does see that. 28 is running back. But Renfro's wide open, but Carr definitely could have got this ball out earlier. If he does get this ball out earlier with a little bit of anticipation, seeing the blitz, he definitely would have had a first down here and maybe even a big play for a touchdown. But when you're in bunches, sometimes they can disguise the blitzes a little bit better. And I don't think Carr even saw the blitz was coming at all. I don't think he saw it. I don't think he recognized it until late. And then because he didn't get the ball out of his hands quick enough and he held the ball too long. All right. So this is just a bad red zone play. I just wanted to show this. I'm not gonna do any any breakdowns. This is just ugly. This is all hitches on the red zone against a team that's playing man to man. I don't get it. They're gonna be playing the end zone. Like that's not gonna work. I don't care what anybody says. He has to throw it away. Like it's all hitches. They all go to the pylon. But so even if like Carr does try to fit it in there, is it even going to be a touchdown? Like that's just bad red zone play calling to me. Like and then Jason Witten's on the field. Like is he separating? Like there's nothing for Carr to do, and then the line didn't hold up. He has to throw that away. So I know a lot of people were mad at his throwaways. There's another one. Here's something they call like the dog concept, which is basically 2 outs at the top of the route, kind of like a levels concept. We got Aguilar, and they're gonna be running to Witten. Carr wants Aguilar, but Aguilar gets held a little bit, and the line doesn't hold up, so he gets to throw it away. But he wanted Aguilar on that play, and then maybe if Trent Brown doesn't get beat here, as you'll see, Trent Brown does get beat right here by 91. If Trent Brown doesn't get beat here, I still think that he hits Aguilar on time for a first down, right? So, but since Trent Brown gets beat, he has to get rid of the ball quick. He has to throw it away at Jason Witten. So that one was more on the offensive line than it was on Derek Carr or anybody else. Now this one is the play action throwback. Now this play, a lot of people said Darren Waller was wide open on this play, and he is open on this play, but this is a design play action throwback. So this is basically just sniffed out by the Lions. So if you stop it here, right, there's nobody there for Jason Witten. Jason Witten's about to be wide open, technically, right? But what actually happens is Jerome Baker recognizes it and he drops off. Okay. Carr double clutches. He's like, oh crap,
Great play.
right? Because Jason Witten is supposed to be there. He's supposed to be wide open, and technically he should have, right? But Jerome Baker saw that. He sniffed it out. So it doesn't matter if Darren. I know people see Darren Waller going on the crosser, but that's not the play design for this. It's a play action throwback, and Jerome Baker just sniffs that out and makes the play, and there's nothing Carr could do at that point. Pressure's already to him. Has to throw it away. Okay. Now we're back in the red zone. We got, double slants here. You got a slant for Ruggs. We got a slant from Waller, but we got a middle of the field safety who's playing this perfectly. And I think he recognizes what's going to happen, and he just kind of jumps both of them. So he jumps the first slant, right? Jumps the second one, stops Henry Ruggs. Now I think that, maybe something Darren Waller could have did. I mean, and maybe something he could have worked with Carr here is maybe just keep going to the back of the end zone. And I think he might have gave Carr a better window here, but he kind of just phase off to the side when Carr tries to come back to Ruggs. So you watch Carr's eyes here. You'll see, he's pointed out, right? He sees it, but he jumps back to Ruggs. I think if Waller keeps going towards the back of the end zone, he might have gave him a window to hit at the back, but um, it didn't work out that way. Now this play is a little different too. It's a little interesting play. I really feel like he could have hit Renfro on this jerk route. Maybe he passes it up because it is short of the sticks, but I feel like Renfro wins here. You guys watch it at the bottom. If Renfro, I feel like he wins. I think he could have hit Renfro there, but he decides to come backside to Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs doesn't get enough separation against Xavier Howard, and also Carr throws a bad throw. I think if it's a better throw, he might have gave Ruggs a chance to make this catch and get a first down, make a tough catch. But you'll see Carr's feet here. He doesn't set his feet when he tries to reset to come back to the backside. He kind of just like throws an ugly jump throw. So he has his feet set here. If he keeps his feet set and resets it, he might throw a better throw there. But it's just bad feet, ugly stuff, misses it. So that one's on Carr. That's a big miss on Derek Carr right here. And this one is just purely a sack. I mean, maybe he could have threw it up to Brian Edwards here, but it's not that much separation. And I think when he started to roll out, which he was starting to, as you see, Brian Edwards is starting to separate. I think he's about to gun this ball to Brian Edwards. I don't know if you guys saw this on the replay, but he flips the ball a little bit before he throws it. I really feel like he's about to gun this to Brian Edwards on the field when he's stepping up. But guess who's there again? Jerome Baker just waiting for him. So, I'll tell you, Jerome Baker had a game, bro. And he's just waiting for him. He just knew it, right? Waiting for him. There's Jerome Baker, sack. So, I mean, you guys see that on the third downs. It was a mixture. Like it was Carr missed some throws. Like the Aguilar one really bothered me. Man, that was, you can't dial it up better against cover zero. Like that is dialed up, dialed up. I'm sure that Gruden was not very happy with that at all once he saw him miss that throw, because that was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. That was six. That would have started the game off with a bang. Everybody had been going crazy if he hit that throw, but you really saw that on the first throw that the groin was an issue. It's going to be an issue that the whole game, because he wasn't able to step into the throw like he usually does. You can see on some of the other throws, like the Ruggs throw. He didn't get his feet set and he missed Ruggs because he didn't get his feet set. He has to get his feet set on that type of throw. You know, he kind of passed up some things for bigger plays. Like he did that a lot today in the game. He passed out some easier throws for bigger throws, and I know a lot of people want him to see him to do that, right? But I think like the Renfro one, I mean, I think you got to give Renfro a chance on that. Just see, I mean, he might not get the first down. Everybody might be pissed, that he doesn't get the first down, but you got to give him a chance to get that first down. I would think it was enough separation where you could trust it. But coming backside to Ruggs wasn't a bad thing, because since the coverage was all the way over there, and you hope Ruggs could get enough separation on there, but then he threw a bad throw. He kind of do it. Like I said, he kind of jumped and didn't set his feet to throw an accurate ball there, and he missed it. So, and then some of the other things were based on pressure. So it was just a lot of great third down stuff that the Dolphins did. I mean, the play action throwback. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure they were like, okay, this is going to be money just based on the coverages that the Dolphins have been running the whole game. They thought that was going to be money. I'm 100% sure. And based on, where I stopped it, I mean, it looked like it was going to be money. But Jerome Baker, he made a huge play on that one. So, I know some people are going to be like, well, he should just threw it to Waller. I'm like, well, like it's a play action throwback. Like, so you just get to roll out and, actually, Waller's going to that side to set up the throwback.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I know people were like, well, Waller's coming open. Sure, he is. Waller is open on that crosser, right? But that's not the point of the play. The whole point of the play design is to get everybody going the other way, so you could do a play to the throwback and Witten being wide open by himself, which he should have been. Like if it was just like if they were playing the Chargers or something like that, I don't think the guy drops off. If they're playing, if they're playing I mean, I don't know. They're playing the Broncos next week. I'll say it. Yeah, if they play the Broncos next week, I don't think that guy's dropping off. That was just a great play by Jerome Baker. Like, I mean, some of these things, like, so yeah, so some of it was Derek Carr, some of it was just the offensive line, and some of it was just great stuff by the Dolphins, and then a lot of it was just bad red zone play calling too. I mean, I didn't show every red zone play, but I'll tell you that Jason Witten was probably in on every single red zone play that they ran. There wasn't uh, a switch up. I mean, I don't know if Jason Witten he made a speech before the game that he's retiring. I don't know what happened. I don't know because he was force feeding him, bro. I don't know what was going on. He even ran like he ran a jerk route during the game. It was like, why is he running a jerk route? Like, what are we doing here? So I don't know. Maybe Wade did a speech. He's like, this is gonna be my last season. Or something. He did like a speech. Gruden was like trying to appease him, or I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but it was too much to me. He was too much a part of the game plan. Too much a part of this game plan. Too much in the red zone. Like he's not getting separation. I mean, some of these things, I mean, and Carr couldn't move, so he needed Gruden. He needed Gruden to dial up plays in the red zone. Like he needed it. Like he needed that help. He needed more of those third downs. And then, I think Gruden has some good third down plays this game. It's just it was tough. It's a tough defense, man. It wasn't the easiest thing, and I think a lot of people expect a lot of the quarterback itself, and just fans and what they expect of what happens with the quarterback, but I mean he was hobbled. It is what it is. I mean he played through it. He wasn't able to step into throws like he could and things like that, but I don't know what happened in the second half, but that Toradell shot must have worked because he was able to step into more throws in the second half and made a bunch of huge throws in the second half. Darren Waller, who was just beasting on Eric Rowe. I mean, Eric Rowe. I don't know what Eric Rowe said to him before halftime, but after halftime, it was personal. So I don't know what that was about, but I mean, but yeah, it was. I don't know. They should have won the game on offense. I think the offense played well enough for them to win. I
Yeah.
will say that. I mean, it wasn't perfect. They had over 10 for third down and everything, but they still down the ball 25-23 with a 99% win probability.
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, all the struggles I talked about and everything they missed, they played well enough to win because Carr was making throws when at late and clutch. So
yeah. The really, so a couple things. I think that a lot of times people get a little they say some silly things, like, oh, they should have done it, they should have done this, but I do think that people talking about how Marcus Mariota should have had a package at the goal line
mhm,
is actually a valid
yeah,
idea, because they play so much man coverage, and when you play man coverage, you got defenders turning their back to the quarterback. And I have noticed, just going back through the Dolphins film before the game, I did notice that mobile quarterbacks, were able to get some traction on the ground because they play so much man, right?
yeah, mhm,
And like we're saying, Carr's got a groin, so he's not going to be mobile. He doesn't like to be mobile anyways, very often. It's like few and far between. But when you have someone like Marcus Mariota in, that's something that I think could have resulted perhaps in some like Gruden's red zone play calling. We've you know,
We've
gone over
covered it.
this. It's not great, but you have a guy who can make a play despite of a bad play call
Hmm.
in Marcus Mariota.
Yeah.
He has the potential to,
Mm.
even if it's like, okay, he doesn't see the read or whatever it is, he could still
Yeah.
do something just off the strength of athleticism,
Yep.
right? So I do think that that's a valid thing, and so that's one thing. The second thing is, um, the Raiders should have just scored a touchdown, right?
100%.
It's so funny. It's so funny because the Raiders were struggling to score in the red zone all game for like the last like how many weeks that has this happened, right?
Yeah.
And then the one time when the defense is like, "No, we want you to score," like they were literally just standing there. The Dolphins defenders were just standing there. They were like, "Go score, please," you
Yeah.
know. And they didn't score a touchdown. So it was like, oh my gosh, man! Like the irony of that, is pretty sickening. But yeah, I mean they should have scored even if you want to run the clock down on those couple plays.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying anything that anyone hasn't already said, but at least on the last play, you should have scored.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. On the third and goal, at least try to score.
Yeah, at least try to. Yeah,
Yeah. At least try to score. Um, you know, yeah, I didn't agree with that at all, bro. I didn't agree with that. I thought it was safe. It was the safe thing to do. And I know a lot of analytics would say that, well, this is why I said they had a 99% win probability. But, John Gruden made a joke, so that's why analytics don't get it right because, you can't predict everything, So I still think they should have scored because even if they had that stupid big play, right, they still had to score a touchdown no
right.
matter what, right?
Yeah,
And then if you went for two and you got it, they have to decide whether they want to tie the game or go for two themselves. So it would have made a big difference. I mean, I being up seven is way better than being up three because that gave them the opportunity just to make one throw. Because even if they made
yeah,
that throw right, and let's say that there was not a face mask, so still in the 41, they still got what, like they were out of bounds. They had like 7 seconds left. They still got time to run a quick out and get like to the 35 and kick a long field goal.
yeah,
Right? They're already in field goal range at that point. So
yeah,
like if they needed to score a touchdown, right, it's totally different. It's just way different way to look at it, and they're not doing anything that they need to do. So it's it's yeah, it was weird. It was a weird aspect at the end of the game. I was shocked. I thought they would just get to finish him out, but I also know that John has never seen a field goal he doesn't like. So he does love him some field goals. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, they kicked 18 field goals into 20 to 29, and a lot of people think if they get rid of Carr, that's going to change. But I'm here to tell you that he loves him some field
yeah.
goals. He always
It
has.
it
He's love
does
he's
not matter if it's Carr or whoever.
It doesn't matter if it's Carr, because
Yeah,
that's just a lot of people. A lot of people they think the red zone issues will be fixed if if they replace Carr. I mean, that's a big thing that they think the red issues just go away. I mean, it's all Carr. It's just go away. But like, I don't know how you think that when everybody was complaining about the Chargers game. Everybody was complaining about the Chargers game about the red zone play calling, but then people are still like, well, if you get rid of Carr, it's him. Look at his completion percentage in the red zone and all this other crap. You know what I mean? Like, and all this other BS that people have been spewing these days. Like, you know, because people have been trying to, trying to kill me for a lot of the things that I say about Carr, or call me a Carr stan or whatever. Because I think 28 was going to get to Ruggs on that route or whatever. Like, it's like this is NFL football, bro. Like if a guy is going backwards towards the post and a guy is running a post route, there's probably a chance that he's might cut that off because this is the NFL.
yeah,
It's not just like, oh, he's gonna get, yeah, he's gonna get there because it's that because one like if Carr's eyes and his throwing motion starts to throw to Ruggs, the guy's gonna he's already in like his in side turn, so he's side turning. That means he could just go wherever the ball's going. So as soon as he his he starts to move his motion because quarterbacks have to. Quarterbacks just can't. You don't. I know. We watched Dan Marino. Randy Marino just went like that. But the average quarterback has a little bit of a windup, right? And Carr has a really quick release, but it's still as soon as he sees the motion, he's got a break, right? It's the
Yeah.
NFL, man. So you know, uh, that's kind of all I want to say about that. But
I mean,
it's
and the other thing too, we could talk about this. Gruden does not want a rookie quarterback. Like he wants the entire offense at his fingertips to call.
mm,
Incredibly verbose offense, right?
yeah,
Um, and like you would you just imagine how incredible that rookie would have to be. Like John Gruden doesn't want to dumb things down. You know,
he does it.
he doesn't want to distill anything. He wants it, to all be there. So you can keep on thinking that Raiders draft a first round quarterback, and I would be excited if that were to happen. I'm just not confident that that would happen because Gruden doesn't want a young quarterback. He wants a veteran
Yeah,
quarterback. So good luck. Going down that path. Um, yeah, and I agree. It- uh, Derek Carr's red zone completion percentage and everything like that, that is because of John Gruden, because they run the same exact plays. So whatever worked in the beginning of the year, they're just still doing it. And defenses is like, okay, yeah, well, they put this on tape, so I know exactly what's going to happen now, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, so that there you go. Just off the top of your head, did the Raiders run any new red zone plays? Or
No.
you say you recognized all of them.
Hmm.
Okay, there you go.
Hmm.
And against the best defense in the NFL, or top
Well,
three defense in the
like
NFL.
the double slants. I mean, I when I saw that's my problem in the red zone. With all of the John Gruden is that when I watch on broadcast and I can call it out, it bothers the hell out of me. I'm like, oh my god, so he's gonna run it. Here comes a slant to Waller.
Yeah.
And guess what? He ran a slant to Waller. And guess what that safety in the middle of the field was doing? He went straight to Waller with a slant, straight to it, cut it off. And then he knew that if he went this way, that Carr is going to try to come back that way. He goes back the other way.
Right.
I mean, everything's been seen on tape. They've seen that stuff. I mean, they ran that play last time they ran that play. It was Aguilar running the other slant. So I mean, based
Yeah.
on formation, you could tell a lot of these things.
And
I mean,
also,
go ahead.
like you could maybe John Gruden deserves some credit for that long touchdown pass to Nelson Aguilar,
Hmm.
but you can't tell me that that's how the coach drew it up. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a
Yeah.
quarterback and a wide receiver making a big play. That was not a result of a great play call. So
So,
like that like Gruden bears most of the blame for some of the offensive struggles down in the second
mm,
half of the season. Like that's on Gruden. That's not on Carr. I'm not saying Carr is a top five quarterback or an elite quarterback in the NFL,
yeah.
but like
People
he
assume you say it when you say that.
right. I'm not saying that. He's for me probably like around like 11, 12, 13 range of
Yeah.
quarterbacks in the
Right.
NFL.
That's where I'm
But
at.
like yeah, it's this is on him. This is on Gruden. This is not on Carr. So
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about it too. I mean, yeah. I mean, this car has its limitations, right? I mean, like some of those third downs. I mean, like the running run for one, he definitely could have anticipated that better, and he could have, got it out a little quicker. Maybe gave put some touch on it, and because if you put touch on it, then you could get some more timing on it for Ruggs to sorry, not Ruggs, but for Renfro to get out of his break.
right.
There's a lot of things that he could have done there, and he did definitely held the ball too long. And he didn't feel it. He didn't feel the pressure coming to get rid of it. And I think he should have did that, right. He should have felt that pressure and got rid of it. So he definitely has some issues that are still gonna pop up every once in a while because he's not the greatest quarterback in the world, right? So but I still think that for what it was worth, I mean, he played well enough for this team to win. He made big throws at the end of the game when they needed to make a big throw. He made the play. I mean, that's all you want. I kind of feel like this game was kind of showed like if the Raiders play defense and Carr and the offense stalls sometimes, but then the defense gets more stops, they have more opportunities to make plays. So, yeah, I mean, they made stops. They stay in the game, but the game got to 16-16, right? Fourth quarter, you know, Carr makes plays. He's very aggressive in the fourth quarter. Always has been, right? So when it's fourth quarter, it's late and it's tied. He's aggressive. That's when we see it. You know, people have been begging for him to play like that for a whole game, right? And we saw that the defense kept him in the game, right? While the offense struggled a little bit and couldn't do anything on third down, and they struggled. But then Carr made a play with the defense held up. He made the play to win the game, and then the defense didn't hold up again, and then he threw it deep into double coverage, and it ended up being a PI, and they get in position again to score, and they took the lead again. So I think that that game kind of showed what it's like to if Derek Carr actually had a defense. You know, like he doesn't throw a lot of picks. I mean, he's been focused on the fumbles obviously since the Falcons game. I really think he got ripped. I 100% believe that he got destroyed in the quarterback room. Like I mean, like Gruden just gave it all to him. Probably made some jokes about playing Mariota against the Jets. I'm 100% sure that he went after him because one, he hasn't ran as much since then. Like he hasn't been trying to be a playmaker. He was trying to be a playmaker for like 5 weeks. He thought he was feeling himself a little bit. Falcons game, he was feeling himself. So I think that Falcons game humbled him, and Gruden just ripped him. I really feel like that. I don't think Gruden was like it. Didn't find those fumbles acceptable, and so he's been trying to focus on holding onto the football in the pocket a little bit more since then, and you know, uh, so I mean, he did good there. He didn't have any fumbles, he didn't have any turnovers, and the defense played well enough to keep them in the game because he didn't have any turnovers or anything like that. Kept everything scheduled, did a lot of good field position, right? If they did stall out, they had a good punt to start the Dolphins at the 10. It was things like that when you have a good defense. Things like that happen. Like it comes to field position game, and then it gives you a chance to quarterback to get into the field. So if he is struggling, he's missing throws, the defense keeps you in the game. So like you're missing the throws, you're struggling in the first quarter. Instead of being 14 down 14-0 at the first quarter, it might be 3-0, right?
Yeah.
And then you get back in the game in the second quarter, you're playing better, and then your next day your offense is going, you're 14-3. That's what having a defense does. It's the stops that if your offense is struggling, because yeah, I know a lot of people want to point out that the offense has been struggling the past five games. Yeah, has the offense been playing as good as they did earlier in the season? No. Are they still putting up 27 points a game? Yes, but also, you know, if they get more stops and they get more opportunities when the offense can't, when John Gruden and these teams are starting to figure out Gruden and teams are getting more stops, if the defense can get stops too, that gives a high-powered offense more chance to score. I mean, I think that's the thing that's missing from a lot of people when they say that. I mean, they just want to throw blame on different things and they try to want to find a reason what's going on. But I mean, the offense has not been as good, but also to me, to want to make a point, but when people talk about the offense, they never talk about the run game. So that's why I really don't want to hear it. You never hear like the run game sucks. That's not the first thing that come out of their mouth. So
Yeah.
whatever.
Run game has struggled, and then also an incredibly bad defensive call in that situation to allow the Dolphins to get into field goal range. Like it's inexcusable. I mean, that's like if you're holding on to two man, that is the situation that you call it in like a Hail Mary situation. You call two man. They need 30 yards. That's when you call it. You don't call cover two there. It's a head scratcher, and literally like this would be a completely different conversation if Marinelli just calls the right coverage at the very end of the game.
Yeah.
You know,
That's the problem. Is the defense the defense let them down again, man. I mean, that's basically what it is. I mean, yeah, they have to get that defense fixed. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're gonna do this offseason, but they have to figure that out. They have to figure that out. And I think they got and people are gonna say I'm crazy, but I think they got some decent core players. I think if they pick the right coordinator who fits these guys' talents, and they look to that. They have to like, okay, what personnel do we have right now? So, we got Max Crosby, we got Cleveland Farrell, we got Maurice Hurst, all these guys that are on contract. They're all on rookie contracts, right? We got a lot of those guys. We got Nick Kawakowski, who's had a pretty good year, right? He had a pretty good year. Corey Littleton has talent. We know he has talent. He's played good football before. He's maybe had trouble adjusting to Paul Gunther's system or whatever, but I mean, he's been, He's been good in the NFL before, right? And, he never was good against the run, really, but he was good against the pass, and that's what kind of what they brought him in for, right? So he's been good in the NFL. I mean, Damon Arnett, he had good college tape. He's having some struggles, but you're talking about you got him trying to play cover two. Maybe you should bring in somebody that fits his skill set. I mean, he was a great press man corner. I mean, so was Trayvon Mullen. I mean, maybe they might have to bring in somebody that focuses on press man. I mean, even Isaiah Johnson does well in press man. I mean, if those guys all do well in press man, maybe we should bring in somebody that focuses a lot on more on press man. And with press man teams, sure, the press man teams like the Dolphins give up big plays, yeah. But do you score when it gets tight and they're playing and they got good corners and they're playing tight man coverage and it gets tight? You ain't getting open. So it's you have to beat the Dolphins with big plays because if you get into those condensed areas and you get into third down, they're going to clinch up, man. And I think that's maybe some things the Raiders have to look into as well. Is we have a bunch of press man corners that do really well in press man. They don't do really well in off coverage. And I know you got to play off sometimes. I understand. You can't play press man all the time. But you know if that's what you have, then maybe you have to fill that skill set, and find a coordinator who fits it, who's willing to
Yeah.
challenge people. That's my opinion.
I mean, there are very few, just, it doesn't matter what scheme, it doesn't matter who the coach is, the players that are going to go out there and be great no matter what.
Yeah.
Okay. The rest of these guys that do a really good job, it's because they're put in great positions by their coaching staff. Okay. So that's like the majority of the good players that you hear about in the NFL. All right. And obviously the Raiders don't have like an Aaron Donald type or Khalil Mack or TJ Watt or something like that, right? But um, you you don't you don't need a player like that, and the Dolphins are a great example. You don't need players like that to have a great defense. Okay, so the the biggest thing really is coaching is way more important, and coaching unlocks players' potentials, and that's what the Raiders have been lacking. So yeah,
Mhm.
I think I agree with you. I think that the pieces are there. It's not like the pieces are there for a dominant defense, but the pieces are there for a much better defense than what we've seen, and that would give the Raiders more chances. When I mean, the Raiders have a winning record if their defense just holds up in like 3 games. Like the Raiders are in the playoffs if they don't blow the game at the end. Their defense doesn't blow the game at the end, like just like 3 games. So,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Anything else that you want to add before we get out of here, man?
Uh no, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. If they try to, if they finish season 8-8. I don't know if they will. I don't know what's gonna happen this next week. Um, but it's just gonna be interesting seeing how they try to finish this because I mean, technically, I mean, the rebuild's over, right? Isn't it's over, right? Technically,
Well,
and this
not if you get a new defensive coordinator. Now you got to start from scratch there. So yeah,
see, I mean,
it's like
it,
it's yeah. The rebuild is never over until you make the playoffs. Okay.
but I mean, usually year three of the rebuild is. I mean, this was the year. This is supposed to be the year of the rebuild. Yeah, you have get the 5 first round picks in the first year of the rebuild, right? You decided to keep the quarterback, which I think was a big decision going into 2019. Like that was probably my thing. I was like, wow, okay, so you are rolling with Carr for the foreseeable future. And I think a lot of people they don't understand that, like because if you go watch every single other team rebuild, they usually go into the second year of the rebuild with the new quarterback. I mean, look at the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins had Fitzpatrick, and obviously he was playing fine. They didn't have to replace. They could have kept Fitzpatrick. They're like, nope, this is a rebuild. We got to have a quarterback to go with the rebuild, so they replaced him, right? And they had a quarterback. So when they went to that second year of rebuild with Carr, I was like, oh wow, that's what we're doing. So okay, so and then they had those 1st round picks, they had those rookies, everybody was excited, everybody thought this was going to be the third year of the rebuild. You got drafted guys in 2018, you had the 5 draft picks, and you added some more this year. You got Darren Waller developing, everything's there. But you kept the coordinator too long, which is one. You kept the coordinator too
Yeah.
long. You which then kept affecting all the other things. So I mean, I think that was the biggest mistake in the rebuild. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, what else can you rebuild at this point? I mean, you had five first round picks. Like that's like the ultimate rebuild. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like 5 years of drafting to me.
It's really what needs to happen is whoever is the defensive coordinator, okay, needs to do an incredible job because these guys, the Cleveland Farrells and the Max Crosby's, Trayvon Mullins, John Abrams, Damon Arnett's, okay, the investments that they've made are going to waste with bad coaching on the defensive side of the ball. It's useless. You can draft first round talents or first round players. Even if you don't agree that they should have been in the first round, you could draft high draft picks. But if the coaching is bad, then who cares? Like we're never going to see it out of them. And then yeah, and it also hurts. It's not just the defense; it hurts the offense too because you got Darren Waller being dominant. You got a guy like Nelson Aguilar coming out of the shadows to make these huge plays, and then Josh Jacobs, and then those guys go to waste too because you can't go to the playoffs with a terrible defense. So it's wasting everything. So yeah, the defensive coordinator is like the single most important thing that needs to happen to this team. Obviously, red zone issues on offense. The run
Yeah.
game hasn't been consistent this year, so things
Mhm.
need to get changed on offense too. But like that's the single biggest thing is this defensive coordinator needs to come in and get this unit from bottom five at least to like just middle of the pack defense next year. Like that, it needs to happen before we can even talk about the Raiders being like a playoff team.
Yeah,
You know,
you're right. Yeah, they're gonna have to play defense, no matter who the quarterback was. I mean, they have to play defense. It doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I think the only other team, I think the last team to like even have 7 wins with a team that had like led around like 30 points a game was the Saints with Drew Brees in like 2015. They went 7-9. So I mean, this is basically the same thing. This is it. That's this year, right? That's, I mean, that's basically this year. Is that
right,
they
and
might finish 7-9.
their defense was terrible that year. Saints defense, yeah.
Terrible,
It's
right?
it.
And
There's another one. Matt Ryan did it with the Falcons one year, where he had like a really good QB season, like a
mhm,
phenomenal QB season. Usually that equates to like 10-win season, but the defense was so bad that they finished with the losing record. So I think it's only happened a couple times, but yeah, like in the last like 6 or 7 years. So
mhm,
yeah, that's what happened to the Raiders this year with the bad defense. Yeah, they're
yeah, for
off
sure.
because their offense was good enough to make the playoffs. Like the Dolphins have a terrible offense. Let's just call a spade a spade. That is not a good offense. Okay, it's not a good offense, and they're going to the playoffs because their defense was dominant, right? Like that. So like there you go.
Which I had some people try to say that their defense is overrated, which I thought was hilarious. I saw that just to knock Derek Carr. Like their defense is overrated, so it didn't matter. Okay, yeah, whatever, bro. Overrated.
I mean, um, that was the first game all season that they didn't get like an interception.
Yeah,
That's, yeah, that's
but throw it
that's
into
a
traffic to
disrespectful
Xavier
thing.
Howard. Just throw it up. Throw,
Yeah.
they won't pick it off. Like, yeah, you might pick it off with one hand.
Right.
I'm sorry, man. I've had some funny interactions on Twitter this week, so
I've
it's
been
just
I've been
hilarious.
off Twitter, man. I haven't even got like as soon as they
I know.
lost, I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I can't even go on anymore. I can't show my face there. This is crazy.
I've had some funny interactions this week, so
Yeah.
it's just funny, bro. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. I know we just went over a heartbreaking loss. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. What we broke down. Hopefully we can get a win next week. Hopefully, I mean, we'll start off. John Gruden is 0-7 in Denver. He's never won there, so we're going for John Gruden's first win in Denver. So they might play with some pride. We never know. Uh, but but make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to us every single week, man. We're gonna be giving you guys, we'll do some after season breakdowns and some free agency and some draft, of course. We're gonna be doing a lot of that, so be on the lookout for that too. We're definitely gonna be doing a lot of that stuff. So make sure you guys are ready for that. Um, any
Me and
last words, Speedy?
Marcus, we can't quit football.
No, we
Just
can't.
because football's done, we are not gonna stop watching football. Okay, so we're gonna give you some content in the
Yeah.
off season. Don't worry, rest assured. We're football junkies, so we got some things ready for you guys.
Yeah.
Hit subscribe if you haven't hit subscribe already, guys. We appreciate it, Raider Nation.
Yeah, and then make sure you follow us on Twitter at the Markdown NFL, and if BD goes back after the season, at BD Williams 18. All right, guys. See you later.